Welcome to the Spaghetti Wall podcast, where we dive into life.
Both the messy parts and the moments of joy, and everything in between. I'm Jason Wilcox, licensed clinical social worker.
And I'm Dr. Tansei Lee, a licensed clinical psychologist.
Today, we're going to talk about the joy of dating your partner.
Yes, and hopefully you find it joyful to date your partner because it's a critical piece in having a long-lasting relationship. And I know sometimes people are like, dating my partner? Like, I've been with them for 10 years. Why do I need to date them?
I think you have a point there, Jason. I think when couples have been together for a little bit, I believe you kind of fall into this like place of complacency where it could be life, it could be stress, but you just start doing things on a schedule, the same things.
Yeah, our brains are interesting because they like patterns, they like routines. They don't like to break routines because it takes energy. And the older you get and the longer you're in a relationship, the brain's going to try to find routines. And then it's going to try to keep those patterns going because it keeps it simple and easy. The brain is all about not making things complex. And so it's easy to fall into those ruts. However, it's really, really critical that when you look at a relationship, it has to be constantly fed and built. It's not something that you just go, oh, I now have this thing, let me put it on the shelf and it's beautiful and I get to stare at it once in a while and it collects dust. Relationships, you have to constantly grow them. Just like you would a plant or anything else, the relationship has to be grown. But one of the most critical ones is, are you dating your partner?
Are we going on dates? But see, dates require planning. It requires carving out time. I like it easy. I like that our brain makes routine easy, and sometimes it just feels nice to not go on dates.
Yeah, but I mean, you can still, knowing that the brain works that way, you can make it a routine. Right? I think if you've heard us in other episodes, Tan and I, we try to make a every Friday date. Doesn't work every Friday, but most of the time, if we're not busy doing things or something takes us away, we're going to go on a date on Fridays during the day when everybody's at school and we break away to go on a lunch date.
Yeah, or we make it up on Monday when we're working half day.
Yeah. The point is, are you spending time with your partner? Are you spending meaningful time with your partner? Because not only do we go on that date on Fridays, but Tan and I actually, we do lots of things together. We're often finding things to connect. So it may not look like a technical date, but we do things often to go out and just take a walk. Like the other day, you had a moment and I said, let's go for a walk. And we took a walk. And it was just kind of a moment.
Yeah, it was an invitation. It was something that was spontaneous. It wasn't planned. And we have a couple things that when we say, I would like to find something to do together, sometimes it's helpful when it's a class that's like the same time, the same week. So we have it in our schedule to make that the date time. For example, we've done a ceramics class together. That's been our date night. More recently, we signed up for voice coaching together.
Singing classes.
Singing, voice coaching. And so that's become our date on the weekly too. So we add things. I don't know if it's because of my ADHD brain and, getting into new things and new interests, but we are always, I think, sitting down and going, okay, is this for us? No, not for us. Is there something else we can do that would be fun and exciting and interesting?
Yeah. So at minimum, when you're looking at your schedule in your life, the question to ask yourself is, are we dating? Are we making time out of our schedule to prioritize each other? And if not, you might want to rethink what you're doing because this needs to be a priority. Otherwise, distance and pressure can start building within the relationship.
So let's get into the details a little bit because when you talk about dating, it's in my mind spending quality time together. but sometimes activities and interests are different. So for you and I, we usually talk about what it is we like to go do together, if it's bowling, axe throwing, painting, different things, board games with friends or not with friends, with kids, just dinner night, you and I. Sometimes there are activities socially with other people, and sometimes you prefer not to be around people, Jason.
Yes, that's true.
So what happens when one partner isn't really enjoying that time together that's been planned and effort was put into it, and this partner's not really feeling it?
I think that would go to what's going on. Is it because you agreed to do something you really dislike? And if that's true, then what happened to assertive communication? What stopped you from speaking up and talking about what you do or don't really like? If it's that you ended up in the situation, thought you'd like it, and now you don't, well, there's things to talk about that, but we can all suffer through something and then talk about it afterwards saying, I don't want to do that again. And then there's the other aspect of if it's something you really dislike that much, you need to speak up about it beforehand and talk about what does that mean for you guys and what do you want to do differently, or do you want to go forward with this? But there needs to be some give and take, because it's also not going to be helpful if you're going on a date and one person's miserable every time.
Yeah, and a prime example for us is that Jason likes to eat at home and I like to dine in at the restaurant. And so he's made many concessions for me when we're picking where to go eat and have our dates.
Yeah, but that's more preferential,
Mhm.
not miserable creating for me. So it's a good point of one where it's like middle ground, because I'm okay going out to the restaurant and dining out. It's just not my preference. I'm not sitting there miserable and annoyed by it or have any negative emotions in that moment. I'm still having a good time. I'm still enjoying hanging out with you. I'm still enjoying the day all the way around. It's just my preference isn't in a restaurant with a lot of other people and loudness and waiting on a person to bring me my stuff and, all that stuff. It's not my preference, but it doesn't take away from the date for me. Versus if we had to go to like one of those restaurants where they sit you with a bunch of strangers and you have to like talk with the other strangers, I might be willing to do that for you like once, maybe twice if you were really wanting to do it. But that one I would be suffering through.
What restaurant sits you with strangers, Jason?
I won't tell you because you might want to do that.
Oh, okay. I mean, I know sometimes dim sum can happen like that if it's crowded and you just have two people. Sometimes that's okay.
Oh, no, there's restaurants that do
Okay.
that. My point being is that would be something that I would be not enjoying. Like it would make it not enjoyable during that date for me. And so I'd prefer not to do something like that. Like beyond just a preference, it would be like, I'd feel miserable during that experience.
And you and I get stuck in this kind of like taking care of each other. And sometimes I second guess my desire to go out because I feel like I already know you wouldn't want to go out. So sometimes I think we get stuck in even that headspace.
We?
Or me.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a problem saying we when I say we took out the trash, he took out the trash, or we mowed the lawn, I mowed the lawn.
Yeah, and we've talked about that of not making choices for me because you don't know. Going out to eat, yeah, would I have a preference doing it a different way, like taking the food to a park or going somewhere else and eating instead of a restaurant? Yeah, I have a preference. But if you're like, oh, I really want to go eat at this restaurant, and if in your mind you decide not to talk to me about that, there's a good chance I would have been like, yeah, let's go. Perfectly happy to do it.
We've conceded on if we travel far to go rock hunting, sometimes I'll convince you to give me an hour to go shopping, and I'm totally okay if you stay in the car, but most of the time you don't. You walk around with me.
Yeah. Which I'm okay with too.
Yes.
Like, again, you're pointing out great examples of where it's not necessarily my preference, may not be your preference, but it's something that we still enjoy being around each other and okay doing.
Yes.
There would be examples, again, I already gave one, I could come up with others where I would, if you said, I want to go do this, I would probably say, I'm not into that. Take one of the kids, take a friend. I would prefer not to do that. Going back to our topic though, it's important for you guys to sit down, talk about it, figure out how to connect. And I can't help but think about the couples out there that might be going, oh my gosh, I try not to spend time with my partner.
What?
So this one's kind of an important topic too, for those that are like, I don't want to spend time with my partner. That'd be a big question of what is going on there that you wouldn't want to spend time with your partner.
It popped up moments in therapy with folks who have literally told me they will stay in their car for about 30 minutes before they want to enter their house to avoid their partners.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Hmm.
You've hit a point in the relationship. This is where I would say it's probably time to see a couples counselor, work through that stuff, because you can only go on that way so long before it just keeps tearing you apart, tears your partner apart. It impacts everybody if that's where the relationship's at.
So, Jason, why do you make it a priority to take me out on dates and that we have that time together? Because you do a really good job at it.
So I do it for a couple of reasons. One, because I know the importance of it on how it impacts our relationship and grows our relationship. And two, I truly, at my core, 100% find joy in it. So it brings joy in my life to go spend time with you. Like, I love it. One of my favorite things to do is spend time with you.
I love it too. I guess I'm thinking about the folks who may be noticing some stagnation in the relationship or things really feeling disconnected, missing that quality time, missing that investment and interest and effort in, even if it's an hour, even if it's 30 minutes. I think it is important. And if it's not there and there's no desire, I think there is some questions that may need to be pondered or introspected.
Yes. Again, I would encourage couples to treat this like the medicine for the relationship. If you're not taking it, it's not going to be healthy in that relationship. It's really important to metaphorically take that medicine. It's important to make sure that it is an extreme priority in your life to schedule time with your partner and make sure that you're spending that time.
Yeah, I do think it is the quality too, not just quantity, like overbooking yourself too many dates or going to too many activities and it doesn't feel connected. It doesn't feel like you guys are growing and living in the experiences together and sharing those memories and connecting and integrating, right? These experiences. I think on the other end of the spectrum, I also want to respect couples who are happy. They're happy with just how they are functioning. They have levels of engagement that is enough because life is busy and sometimes at some point in your life, this part of your relationship might be on the back burner for a little bit, temporarily, short term. We're not saying there's something majorly wrong with your relationship if you're not having dates regularly. However, it is an indication of how we grow with each other.
Yeah, and I would define dating when you're meet someone is a little different than when you're with your partner. Dating someone when you're just meeting them, right? You're probably going to go out on what looks like a typical date. When it comes to your partner, dating is just very different. It might look just the same, but it can look like a lot of other stuff. It could be just a, hey, let's sit on the couch, cuddle, and watch a show tonight. It could be, hey, every night once we get kids down, let's spend 15 minutes just digesting life and what's happening. It could look like a lot of different things. But I'd still encourage folks, if you don't have anything like that in your relationship, it'd be important for you to sit down and go, how do we schedule this in? Something where you are having connection time.
Yeah, so I get this one often. Well, we go grocery shopping together. Does that count?
I would say it's dependent on the couple. Like some people really love going grocery shopping and cool. If that is great for you guys and it's a moment to connect and it makes sense and you value that time together, cool, then do it.
Well, we get time when he drops me off at work in the morning. Does that count?
I'd go back to the same thing. Everybody's different. If that is connection time for you and it feels good and it's building a relationship, right? The purpose is to build the relationship, to keep that flame, that connection growing and strong in the relationship. So if it does, great.
Yeah, I was trying to throw you some curveballs there.
And hopefully I hit them. But everybody's different. Again, if you came and told us, oh, that's what we do in our relationship, the question I'd be asking you is that building it? And if your answer is no, then I'm going to look at you and say, then it'd be really important for you to find the things that build the relationship. Find ways that does build it and make sure that you're scheduling the time to have those moments.
I have a hesitation to add if these moments and these date nights have to end in sex. There's some individuals in therapy who have disclosed that sometimes there's an expectation when you're quote unquote dating or trying to spice things up or trying to bring the spark back, that there's this like expectation of sex after some of these special events.
Well, I would encourage anybody that is having that happen in their relationship, they check out our episode on sex and take a listen to that because we'll do a deeper dive there. But the simple answer I would give anybody that's having that issue is the second you put expectations around sex, you've ruined sex. So yeah, that doesn't work unless both of you are in agreement that's what you want to do.
Oh, yeah. I think it's when I hear that in therapy, I already know there's resentment around sex. There's bitterness around sex. It's more about the connection and feeling misunderstood and feeling unsafe or feeling something around like, yes, it boils down to expectation, but for the partner, they've described it as sometimes they shy away from indulging in date nights with their partner if they feel pressure that sex is expected at the end.
Yeah, again, if you put expectations on sex, it ruins sex in a relationship. What you're doing is you're making it so it's probably going to start happening less and it's going to be more difficult in that relationship. So it's really important not to put expectations around sex. It should be a mutually agreed upon thing that both of you are wanting it, both of you are invested, both of you feel like it's building the relationship.
Right. And if physical intimacy and physical affection is something that needs to be enhanced, yeah, listen to our other episode around sex.
Well, hopefully this was helpful for you in learning about how to make sure that you are scheduling time to be building a relationship, whether it looks like dates or spending time together, but the important part of connecting and building that relationship.
Yeah, just asking, how are we continuing to build us and build our connection and build our romance and build our love and curiosity about each other?
Check us out more on our social media sites. Reach out to us, ask us questions. We're always interested in topics you'd be interested in, so let us know.
Thanks for listening.